Natural Woman, in parenthesis, it says, you make me feel, parenthesis, like a natural woman. The Vikings version on Tacoma Radio. Whoa is right. What an ending.
I'll tell you what.
What a great Viking song.
Andy Sidley doing that vocal there.
Stock, you wanted to say something about that, right? You got to talk right into that mic because I can't hear you.
Guitar on that's a wonderful piece.
Billy Craig?
Yes.
Yeah.
And who suggested that song, Annie?
That was my idea.
Matthew's idea?
And by the way, the story behind the song, very quickly, is that, Jerry Goffin passed away, about a year or so ago. And, Carole King has gotten all this acclaim throughout the years of being this great feminist icon about how she was supportive of women. And in the obituary for Jerry Goffin is quoted from a newspaper story saying that he was flabbergasted when Tapestry came out because during their whole collaboration between Goffin and King when they were married, that Carole had not contributed one solitary lyric to their collaboration, which means that that song, the lyrics to that song, were written not by Carole King but by Jerry Goffin.
How about that?
So it's a man wrote that song. Basically.
I'm working that into the show.
So, not by the great feminist icon Carole, but her husband who took a lot of acid.
And the waitresses were the same thing. Remember the waitresses? Yeah. I Know What Boys Like.
Yep. Chris Butler
in Ohio
right.
wrote all those songs, even though Patty Donahue sang them. But
exactly.
A man writing all those songs.
Chris Butler was the group called Tin Huey, who did I'm a Believer, who covered the Monkees' I'm a Believer.
Yeah. Speaking of the Monkees, what Monkee songs do you guys play, if any?
We do I'm a Believer. We used to do Pleasant Valley Sunday. When Bill died in 2012, there were certain songs that we never got back to, and that's one of them. But that's one of the great things about this band is we figure we've got years ahead of us and hundreds of songs to go.
Cool. Well, I vote for you bringing back Mr. You're a Better Man Than I. That is one of my top 10 favorite songs ever in the history of music.
And one of mine.
There you go.
Stock does a really good job on that song. I got a cool recording of that. I record every rehearsal down in the basement and save them all and sometimes splice them up into MP3s. And I got a neat version of Mr. You're a Better Man Than I.
I have a CD with 10 different versions by 10 different bands. And early, like in 2017, like 10 weeks in a row, I played a different version of that song every single
You are
week.
way too into that song.
I told you I like that song. So what do we have here next? We have Birds.
There you go. One of the neat things about this band is recently, about a year ago or so, we started having Pete Cage from Frederick come and play with us. And Pete owns a 12-string Rickenbacker guitar, and he is just a genius at playing it. And it opened up the world to certain kinds of songs, and nothing more iconic than the song we're about to hear. Stock, tell them a little bit about Pete, because he's actually quite known in the guitar community, isn't he?
Well, Pete is an amplifier genius, a repairman, a builder. He has his own line of amps, and that's how I met him. Was I needed someone to do some repair work on one of my amplifiers, and we just became good friends over time. And we both realized that he had a Beatles cover band that he'd been in for several years, which meant that he would probably fit well into the Vikings. And he came in as a guest guitarist and pretty much has stuck around.
This is what happens in our band. It's fascinating. Bob Berwick was a guest drummer, and suddenly he was in the band. And then when Bill died, Bill Euler died, Sean Chun was a guest performer with us for one gig, and he's only 31 years old, but he loves the old music. And suddenly Sean was in the band, and then Carol filled in when Sean left, and Carol was in the band, and Andy's in the band, and Pete's in the band, and it's just bringing weapons to be able to enjoy the music.
So this is sort of a repertory company, isn't it? People keep joining, and
yeah. Although the lineup we've got now, I think, is by far the best lineup we've ever had, and we're really we're looking forward to the future in that regard.
We're going to hear Pete now?
We're going to hear Pete on the 12-string, and this was recorded at Bethesda Blues and Jazz, where we have headlined 8 times in the last 4 or 5 years.
I hope you go back, because Tom Carrico quit.
Yeah, well,
He'll be missed.
Tom has been a great mentor for this band and a wonderful guy that's done a lot of great things for the Vikings. This is Mr. Tambourine Man, one of the more important 12-string songs of all time.
of course, originally done by Bob Dylan.
There you go.
And the Birds electrified it. These are the Vikings here on Tacoma Radio.
There is no place I'm going to.
Jangly guitars.
There you go. Pete.
All of
Pete's
us
just
love-
beautiful on that song.
All of us love jangly guitars, didn't we?
Well, if you like jangly guitars, you'd really like us because we got a 4-guitar army in this band. They're all jangling.
I'd like to give a shout out to a guy named Craig Weinsack. He was my public speaking teacher at Whitman, and have become very good friends on Facebook in the last year, and just want to say hi, man. You taught me how to speak.
Anybody want to say hello to their wives or kids while we're on Facebook?
Hi,
Live?
Don.
No, I don't.
Hi, Haley.
All 3 of them are gone.
Weasel, wives or kids?
No, none that I know of. Yeah,
None that we
Definitely
know
say
of.
hello to my wife, Barbara.
There's no little weasels running around.
Nah. And my sons, Andrew and Patrick, as well.
So another Bird song is cued in. Who sings this and who brought it to the band, Mr. Spaceman?
Well, this was a song we learned very early on, in maybe the first 2 months that we played it, and it features Joe on the vocal. And it's interesting, we've obviously played a number of Bird songs today. The Birds seem to line up with our sensibilities and our instrumentation. You may notice we don't have a keyboard player in the band, and we cover it in many ways, but the Birds seems to fit for us very much as music that we enjoy doing. And this one features Joe. It's called Mr. Spaceman.
it's Tacoma Radio.
Thank you. We like to believe we're sort of like a musical education. So right now we're going to do something by the Birds. I thought it was, woke up this morning with lights in my eyes, and I soon realized it was still dark outside. That was a light coming down from the sky, and I don't know who or why. Must be them strangers that come at night, and them saucer-shaped lights with the people uptight. Leave the green footprints that glow in the dark. Well, I sure hope they get home alright. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Woke up this morning with a laugh and all weird. Lies in my beard and my toothpaste was smeared. Over my window they'd written my name. Said so long, JoJo, we'll see you again. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Pick us up. Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Thank you so much. All right.
Okay. Joe, who played the harmonica on that song?
Well, I played the harmonica on that song. I play all the harmonica in the band.
Cool. So you're
No.
a multi-instrumentalist.
Well, when I was 6, my dad taught me how to play the harmonica, and I always played it, but then I quit playing it for years and decades. And then when I got into the Vikings, suddenly I started playing it again, and I'm happy I do.
Yeah,
who
I
who
never
are your
heard you play
harmonica
it.
influences? Who?
He's also our
inspired you
main
to play-
percussionist. I mean, he plays bongos and claves and
Yeah,
shakers.
like
and
Weasel said.
tambourine.
Who's your harmonica heroes? Is it John Lennon?
Bob
Dylan?
Dylan.
So we got time for one more song because we got to be out of here in 5 minutes. And what's the song you've picked out, you guys? Another bird
There
song.
you go.
Wow.
I'll Feel a Whole Lot Better is a song that Bill Craig suggested that we learn. It's a good example of Bill's wonderful sense of quality.
I believe Gene Clark wrote this one.
Yep.
Before we go, if I could say just really briefly, Vikings is VI-Kings, and we are on Facebook, and we are at 943 friends, and it is our mission to get to 1,000. So go on Facebook and join our page.
Like
and
the
we would love to
Vikings.
see you at a Vikings
Well,
show.
we will come back to give you a chance to say goodbye. Should we play this now, though?
Yes, please.
Gene Clark wrote it. It's a bird song, and it's the Vikings version. I'll feel a whole lot better when you're gone. Tacoma Radio.
And if you were playing that first Birds album, the next song would be... Oh, what can you say? I gotta let you go and run away. I can't stay
Who was the lead vocalist on that?
That's Bill Craig on the lead vocal right there.
Billy Craig.
Good example of 7 lead singers.
Joe, you got another request. They want you to learn the Monkey song "Tapioca Tundra" by Mike Nesmith.
Hey, tell you what, we did play a Michael Nesmith song recently, didn't we, Stock? At the Music Cafe. What did you do?
Joanne.
There you go.
I love that.